It's time for a mid-March farm tour. And if you haven't already, on the community tab, we've got an ongoing little competition going. I've got a list of dates and you guys have been guessing when she might give birth. DEFRA and AFA have said that they will be lifting the housing restrictions for poultry at 23:59 on March 31st. SARD is yet to name both the Goldens and the Palawan peacock pheasants. I can't quite believe it's already March. Mid-March, it's actually almost April, and the weather has finally settled down. You can hear there is no wind today. So I can take you around the farm and show you all the latest updates. So here is paddock 1 of our sheep. This is where we've got 2 rams, Montague and Capulet, and Connie, our pregnant ewe, who is just here. So if you follow on Instagram, you will have seen that a couple of days ago, I saw a nipple on Connie, and that means that her nipples are descending and her udder is starting to produce milk ready for lambs. Now, I don't know exactly when she is due. Sheep have an ovulation cycle of between 13 and 19 days. We tend to take it as an average of 17 days. She first met the ram on the 8th of November. So I've used a calculator, and using that calculator, she is due as early as the 30th of March, all the way through to the 26th of April. Hello. Now, I'm fairly sure she was caught on her first cycle, because otherwise she wouldn't be bagging up this early. But she's my first sheep. I've never lambed her before, so I don't know kind of whether she's prone to bagging up early, whether she bags up literally a few days before. This is her first time as well. So over the next few weeks, I will watch to see if that bag descends. She's not massive yet. She's not showing signs of being heavily pregnant and really uncomfortable. So I'm predicting still kind of the second week-ish of April. And if you haven't already, on the community tab, we've got an ongoing little competition going. I've got a list of dates and you guys have been guessing when she might give birth. So if you haven't already, pop over to the community tab after this video, look down the dates and just comment and I'll add you to the list. Over in our ewe pasture, we've got our 2 Norfolk Horn ewes and our 2 newbies, the Jacob sheep. You can see where I've moved them today. This over here is obviously the fresh grass, and this is the old grass. And I'm moving them about every 3 days at the moment. I have noticed now I've got the extra 2 and there's 4 in here. It's not a huge area, and I am having to move them quite regularly. And also when Connie comes across with hopefully her lamb or lambs, I'll probably end up making this paddock actually bigger because they'll go through it a lot quicker. A couple of interesting things to note is since we've got the Jacob ewes, the Norfolk Horn ewes have not been getting out at all. And now I'm wondering whether they weren't getting out in search of new grass, because they always had plenty, but they were actually getting out because they didn't feel safe enough as a flock. So they were getting out to try and get near the other 3 to be a tighter group. Now there's 4 of them in here. We haven't had any breakouts at all. So I think that may have solved the issue. The second point is how well they are doing with this pasture rotation. So obviously you can see they've been on here for 3 days, that's the fresh grass, and then this is where they've been. Now it looks pretty rough, but this field is mostly just grass and pasture. There's very little weed or native flowers, clover and things like that amongst the grass. So I am very happy for them to turn it into this, because all of this open soil is a seed bed for fresh stuff to grow in. So they've been all along here. You can see this is the past week where they've been on, and you can see already the greenness behind where the grass is coming back. But hopefully where they've exposed the soil and trodden down with their feet and pooped and weed into it, that now opens that seed bed for new wild flora to take seed and grow. Now I don't always want them to get down to this because they would actually ruin it and they wouldn't allow those perennial wildflowers and plants to grow. But at the moment it's perfect. In the summer and probably next year when things have started to take, I'll move them more readily. So it kind of only ever gets down to this rather than this. But I think in terms of regenerating this pasture and keeping them moving and not having had them in at all winter or feeding them any hay or anything, they're doing really well. In the pheasantry, we have been working really hard to get it prepped for spring. The two male reeves started fighting, so we actually had to separate them and put them in smaller coops, but just as well because we have some newcomers. So this is the aviary where we had the two male reeves. And we've got some grey Palawan peacock pheasants in here. They've just arrived. Sard is super happy with them and he's been doing a lot of work to plant up. They are a little bit shy still, so it's hard to get a really good video of them, but we'll try. It also got super muddy here over the winter because this is obviously a thoroughfare where we're walking through, and we had tin on the floor to try and protect the ground a bit. But I sourced a local tree surgeon and he has been bringing up all of his wood chips for free. And so Sard today is just working out on putting this bark chip down to make this nice wooded area. Eventually we're going to put membrane down and gravel, but for now this I think looks pretty nice. And then we also have newcomers in the bottom coop. So in here we have a pair of Goldens. Now this pair aren't going to breed this year because the male is still young. You can see he's actually there in the little nest box taking a rest. He isn't into his full colours yet. The hen I think is a year old. So she's ready and she's over there. And Sard is yet to name both the Goldens and the Palawan peacock pheasants. So when we know names, I will let you know. But I'm really happy with how it's looking. So we've got Palawans at the end, two pairs of breeding reeves, and then the golden pheasants. We end up watching them all the time on the Rio Link camera that's up there. And obviously little puppies here, and then we're currently, Sard is just down here, is just currently continuing to do this pathway down past these hutches where the rabbits and the chickens are, because we're still in avian flu lockdown. But those hutches will be moving up to the market garden within the next couple of weeks. In the Rabbitry, these are our first set of babies. They are about 6 weeks old now. I am really bad at working out boys and girls. Some people say there's a chimney and a slit. They all look like slits to me. So I'm going to have to do a bit of research and watch multiple videos on how to do that. But these little guys, they're practically weaned. I just haven't got anywhere else to put them at the moment. But they will soon be going off to new homes, hopefully. And then this is our second set of kits. She had 12, she's still got 11, I think. They're about 3 weeks old. Hello. All chocolate brown, and we got 19 in total, which is crazy for our first load of bunnies. Bye, Jock. The goats are all doing really well, and if you didn't see the video about the herd is complete, I will link that just up here. And you can watch it after this, and I'll see you in it, and where we talk about the breeding and the new nannies that are just here. But everybody's settling in really well. It has been noticeable how my 5 are actually very well behaved because we've had, no. He's getting there. But he's still a little bit barky with animals he doesn't know. Are you doing better? But yeah, we have had a couple of breakouts from the older girls who have pushed against the fencing down there, and I've come up and the entire troop has been out. I will say though, there's nothing quite like watching the full 9 of them just running through a field. It was pretty magnificent. JJ was at the front as the kind of the leader buck, and everybody else was following him, and it looked very, very beautiful. You having a little bit of a cough, Jay? No. But the state of the herd is good. Now, Anglo-Nubian nannies are quite vocal when they come into heat. I have not noticed any of that. I've noticed no tail wagging, no particular interest from JJ, and no massively bleating. So we may have missed the boat in terms of breeding, but it's just nice to have them to settle in for this coming year. Up at the lookout where the goats are, I've started our willow dome. So this is going to be where our willow dome is. I've just put the twigs in. Not all of them will take, but as long as a few of them strike, and then I can put more stakes in over the coming months. I've potted in, as you know, some hellebores. I found this little primrose in the goat pen and knew they were going to mutilate it, so I popped that in. I picked up a buddleia, which is, where is it? I can't see it now. Oh, you can't really see it, it's here. I picked up that yesterday in cheap. It was like £4 or something. So I've shoved that in as the start of the hedge. I've also put in a few rose bushes along this front side, and I've also just done some preliminary, there will be a gate here. This is not stock fencing, this is purely aesthetic, so it doesn't need to hold goats in. But on the other side of it, look at him. JJ, not JJ, Jock. I swear, I've had so many new animals in the past couple of weeks, I've called him every single name under the sun. Yeah, so this fencing is purely aesthetic. So on the other side, I've just planted some beach roses, some rosemary, and I'm going to put some sage in there as well. So when you're approaching this area, it'll be really pretty. We will get a couple of picnic benches for in here, and this will be the main site, of course, for our experience days. Things are also finally starting to go warm enough for the market garden to get underway. I've finally got my plastic down. I've got another 2 sheets put down, and that will cover 6 beds. I haven't done a massive planting plan yet, so I need to work out exactly what's going there. But I'm thinking this will be where the kale, the chard, and another crop in another 2 beds will go. I'm not entirely sure yet. I need to work out what needs to be direct sown and what can be transplanted. In the flower garden, I've taken a bit of a risk. We may still get some frost and snow, but my sweet peas were starting to look really dodgy, so I put half of them out. So I've constructed this little piece of netting, and I've just started to get a few of them out. They don't look great, but they weren't looking great in their pots, which is why I decided, let's take a punt and throw them outside and see if they take. And I've got another batch of probably 100, 150 sweet peas that I can put in if need be. I have also finally transplanted all the ranunculus from their pots into the ground because they were starting to get a little bit root bound. I've moved them down from where they were being nibbled by the muntjac, and here they are. So they are still under cloth because of A, cold nights, and B, predation. I'm just waiting to get a few more crops in before I start putting on the electric fencing around here. I was going to do it, but I realised I'd lost a few components. I still need a grounding wire, and I need another connection between the battery and the energizer. So I got to buy those 2 components. But it's exciting to have 2 flower farm crops in the ground and to starting to be preparing the market farm garden for its crops. Okay. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Wait. 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 Good boy. Wait. Wait. So those are kind of the 5 key areas that I've been working on over the past month. The wind has blown cardboard everywhere, so probably today and tomorrow's job is to collect that cardboard and just start making some more no-dig garden beds in the market garden. The other hugely positive thing for all of us over in Britain is DEFRA and AFA have said that they will be lifting the housing restrictions for poultry at 23:59 on March 31st. So come April 1st, we can allow our chickens and poultry back out. There are still restrictions in place. We still need foot dips and biosecurity, but they can finally be allowed out. So that is a massively good thing. So time for me to have a tidy.